Hey guys, it's Pinkstar and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be doing my September and October wrap up because I didn't do my September wrap up since I only read 3 books in September, which was pretty bad, but I did much better in October. So yeah, we've got a few to talk about today, so I'm going to go through all of them. I'm going to start with September, I'm going to go through them, and then we'll move on to October. And yeah, we'll let you know what I thought of the books that I managed to read. Alright, so first up in September I read Dirty Lying Fairies. This one's by Sabrina Blackberry, and this was kind of a take on changelings with like fairies stealing babies when they're young, but in this case they don't actually steal babies. They kind of groom adults into becoming fairies, and then they change them into fairies to keep their population going because they can't breed. Yeah, so that's the premise of it. There's like 4 different what do you call it? Seasons. Oh my gosh, this video is going to a great start. There are 4 different like season types of fairies. So there's like the winter court fairies, the autumn court fairies, the spring, summer, and the main character gets turned into a fairy. So she is a changeling. So she starts seeing like crazy fairies everywhere. She thinks she's going nuts, and then turns out she's a changeling as she turns into a fairy, and it's pretty much all about her and how she deals with it. And there's a bit of a plot within the different courts, and yeah, I don't know, I can't really go into it too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but this was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this because it's like an adult like fairy story, but yeah, it worked really well. I really enjoyed it. I loved the love interest. It was really good. The plot itself was interesting. It had some twists that I didn't expect, and I really liked the main character and the main character's best friend. I thought they were awesome. And for a standalone book, this was just really good. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. I really enjoyed it. So I gave this a 4-star, and I would recommend reading this one. Alright, next up we have The Witcher, Baptism of Fire. So this is book 3 of 7, I think. I think so. No, 6. 3 of 6? 6 or 7. I can't remember. Anyway, this was book 3, and this is probably my favourite out of the main stories so far. I really enjoyed this one. Also gave this a 4-star rating, and yeah, it's just, I don't know really what to say. I enjoyed the fact that this was more following Geralt. There wasn't heaps of random side character point of views, which I was getting in the last couple. This one was mostly focusing on Geralt, which I really enjoyed. There's a couple of bits from Ciri as well, and some of the mages, but yeah, I really enjoyed reading about what's happening with Geralt. It was just really interesting. I did enjoy this one, and I am really looking forward to the next one. Hopefully it carries on with more of like Geralt and Ciri's story. I would like a little bit more about Yennefer because we haven't got too much about her at this stage. But yeah, pretty much this is just Geralt trying to find Ciri. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I did really enjoy this one. As I said, I gave it 4 stars, so yeah. And lastly for September I read Where the Heart Festers by Gillian Grant. This is book 3, To the Blood of Eth, which I thought was a trilogy, but it's not, it's a series. The 4th book is already out. I actually own an arc of that as well, which I'll be reading hopefully in December because I really want to read that, and I think there's probably another one after that. So yeah, it's much longer than I thought. I thought this was going to be the final, but it's not. But I love this one just as much as the last 2. I just love the series. If you haven't read it, you really, really should. If you love found families, it's like an adult fantasy, more of like an adventure, kind of very like D&D adventure story. Yeah, I don't know. It gives me like Fellowship of the Ring vibes in the first book as well. I really, really enjoy it. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the story itself, it's really interesting. We got quite a bit of backstory in this one from the main character, Everin, which is what I was wanting because there were so many unanswered questions from book 2, so I got heaps of answers to a lot of questions. We actually got to visit her home, which was awesome, and yeah, found out a lot about her backstory. And yeah, the ending. I have to read the next one soon because I need to know what is going on. So this was a 4.5 star rated book for me. Same as the last two. I was close to giving this a 5, but there is one section in it which kind of got a little bit confusing for me, and it kind of just brought it down a little bit. But other than that, I really enjoyed this book. So yeah. Alright, moving on to October. The first one I read was Our Song by Danny Atkins. I did have this as a physical copy, but I have actually since unhauled this book quite recently. It was one that I just purchased from the library sale, so it's not one that I was just going to hold on to anyway. I just wanted to read it and then send it on its merry way for somebody else to read. I really enjoyed this. This was a 4-star rated book for me. Yeah, so far all the books that I've read in the last couple of months were really highly rated, which is impressive, actually. Yeah, I'm really happy with all the books that I read. I think the lowest was like a 3. This one, I don't know what it is about Danny Atkins. He just writes such emotional stories. Like, it's kind of like a romance, but it's not as much focused on the romance as in the characters' lives themselves. So it's like how they intermingle with each other, and they're just really emotional, heart-wrenching stories. I bawled my eyes out in this, so fair warning, probably like the last 3 chapters, I think I bawled my eyes out. Yeah, it was, yeah, heart-wrenching. I really enjoyed it. I think it's like the 3rd or the 4th book that I've read from Danny Atkins, and I really enjoyed all of them. Yeah, I don't know, I just really like her writing style, and it's very slice of lifey. Yeah, really captures people's emotions, and I think that's the main thing about her books. The one thing that I did feel like it was parts of this was very similar to one of her other books. So I don't know whether maybe she's got a style, but kind of plot point wise was slightly similar to one of the other ones that I've read. So that's why it wasn't higher. Yeah, that's my only negative. I feel like her books are very similar, so there's not as much variety, but at least I guess you know what you're getting. So Alright, next I read No Such Thing. This is the second book that I read by Nissa Harlow, and I enjoyed this one. I actually like this one better than the last one that I read from her. I gave this a 3.5 star rating, and this was my lowest rating for the whole of September and October. So this was the worst book that I read, and it was a 3.5 star, so I mean, it's pretty good. This one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. For some reason I thought this was something to do with fairies, but it's not at all. It was like a Beauty and Beast retelling, but it's from the Beast point of view, and he's like a young boy that gets turned into this beast when he's a kid, accidentally killing his mother and aunt who cursed him in the first place, and getting institutionalized pretty much and growing up in a hospital, pretty much in prison. The whole story is about him trying to figure out what he's doing with his life, whether he just stays in this hospitalization prison or whether he leaves and goes out into the world and tries to, you know, make a life for himself. He is like the main part of the story. He is like a 17-year-old boy, and you know, he just wants to have friends and he just wants to be normal, but obviously he's not. He's hideous, he has wings and like poisonous teeth and fingers, and yeah, it's crazy. I really enjoyed it. Just the fact that it was from this, like, the beast point of view was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, was really, really happy with the story. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and if you like Beauty and the Beast retellings, maybe give this one a read. Alright, next up is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. I absolutely love this. This was my book of the month. Yeah, I know this book's got quite a bit of controversy. Some people really love it, other people don't. I really loved this book. I was hoping it was going to be a 5-star. It wasn't 5 stars. It was 4.5. I brought it down half a star, and I'll tell you why. I wanted this to be 5 stars so bad. The writing style I loved. The characters I loved. The atmosphere of the world and world building, loved. Just, yeah, the way it's written is so beautiful, and yeah, I just absolutely loved the prose. But the one downfall was that this book could have been made into 2 books and extended this. And so we got some more information, because I wanted more. Like, I wanted more story from Xinyan when she was in the army. I wanted to find out more about, you know, what she was doing. I wanted a little bit more, like, build up of the relationships with the other characters. I just feel like they could have done so much more, and that's so disappointing. I still loved it so much though that I had to give it a 4.5 star, because I devoured this book and I just wanted more. The fact that I wanted more, I just have to give it a high rating. I loved it. I would read it again in a heartbeat. I'm 100% getting the next book, which I think is out this week, like in the next couple of days. And yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I really hope the next one gives me a bit more information and build up. But I just, yeah, I feel like they could have extended this and maybe made the duology into a trilogy. I don't know. There's just so much meat that was missing that I would have loved to have read about that, yeah, just wasn't in there, unfortunately. So it just felt like they rushed over some of the side story, which I kind of wanted. So yeah, but the plot and the story itself I really enjoyed, and yeah, I don't know, I just love the whole Chinese mythology of the moon goddess. It was really well done, and like the celestials and everything. Yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Let me know if you have read this, whether you liked it or not, because I know it's very controversial. Some people really, really love it. Other people have given it like a 2-star. I know there are some people on BookTube that have literally said, no, I'm not continuing the series after reading this. I don't know how. So I would love to know more. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was 4.5 stars for me. Alright, next I read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. This was really cute. I did enjoy this one. It wasn't amazing though. I felt like for a romance there just wasn't that much. It was cute, but it just wasn't that well done, if you know what I mean. I gave this a 3.5 stars as well. I was going to give it a 4 originally, and then the more I thought about it, the more it was like, no, it's definitely just a 3.5. It's cute. It's a fun, like, shortish read. It's definitely not as, like, yeah, romancy as I would have liked. And the plot kind of wrapped up real fast at the end. I don't really even understand what they did to fix the issue. But I like the main character. I like her friend. Her friend Gwen was like so cute. I think actually the next book, The Kiss Curse, is about Gwen. So I might read that one because I really liked Gwen. I like the banter between the main character and the love interest, but yeah, it just wasn't as amazing as I was hoping. It was cute and it was fun. And it was a good time, but yeah, it was a 3.5 star. It is what it is. Alright, and lastly, I read The Desert Spear by Peter V. Brett. This is the second book to The Painted Man. I think it's the Demon Cycle series. I think that's what it's called. It doesn't actually say anywhere on here, so I can't actually remember. I'm pretty sure it's the Demon Cycle series, but yeah, I think there's 4 or 5 books. Don't quote me on that. I think there's 5 in the series, but this is book 2, and it is a chunky book. This one rolled into a bit of November, unfortunately. I didn't manage to get it completely finished in October, but I have finished it now, and I really enjoyed this one. This is my second favourite of the month. I also gave this a 4.5 stars, same as I gave the first book. I think the first book I did like slightly more than this, but they're kind of like side-by-side books in a way. There is a bit more like at the end of this that's kind of follow on from the first book, but majority of this is from Jadir, this guy on the cover. It's from his perspective of him when he was growing up, same as the first book was from Arlen when he was growing up, and what they went through. So, you know, seeing the differences of how they grew up and how they were raised was really interesting. And yeah, I did really enjoy the story. I actually ended up listening to a little bit of it on audiobook because I got a library card and realized that I can get audiobooks from the library and just listen to them, which was fantastic. So while I was working, I could just listen to the book at the same time, which sped things up a little bit because I was, as I said, running behind a little bit and didn't quite finish it in October. But there we have it. I did really enjoy this one, and I am looking forward to the next one because obviously now we've seen the story from both him and Arlen. Could be the deliverer, we don't know. But yeah, so now we've seen both sides of the story. Like, one's like a northerner, he's a southerner, and it's just really interesting to see, you know, what's going to happen. Are they actually going to, you know, meet back up? And yeah, like, what's going to happen with the demons? Are they going to actually join forces and fight the demons, or are they going to fight each other? Who knows? But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed this, and I do recommend checking these books out if you like a good kind of epic fantasy with demons, and it's more like real life but with like magical elements. So yeah. Alright, and the last book that I was supposed to read in October, The Witcher, The Tower of the Swallows, I rolled through to November, if you saw my November TBR. So I'm currently reading this one, and yeah, I'll let you know next month my thoughts on this. But that is it for now. That's all the books that I read in September and October. As I said, let me know your thoughts down below if you've read any of these and you liked them or you didn't like them. Love to know. And if you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.